Hi, welcome back to I Confess with Travis. This is episode 6. And today I am going to be talking to a guy who purposely killed his dad for beating up his mom. So this is going to be kind of interesting. So let's go ahead and take my first call. So, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Travis. How are you doing today?
Doing good. So I hear you got a story you want to tell us.
Yes. It's a little traumatic. When I was 8 years old, my mom and dad, they used to constantly fight all the time. And he used to hit my mom. And one time I just got so fed up, I grabbed his gun and I shot him. And then he passed. And then I had to serve time in juvie.
Like how long were you in there for?
I was in there until I turned 19.
Okay.
Yeah. Then when I turned 19, it was just in juvie. I was just constantly tracked. I started off after juvie, like I went to group homes, and then and now I'm finally back with my mom. It's kind of a hard relationship right now with her because I don't know how she feels about the situation. We haven't really been able to talk about it. But yeah, I was recently released about like 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like, let me ask you this. Was your dad kind of a violent person, or like...
He never used to hit me, but my mom, it was just so hard seeing her cry. And every time we went out, she had to put makeup on to cover up.
Oh, from the bruises and stuff?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I bet that was actually hard on, both of y'all.
Yeah, it took a toll on me. Even at a young age, I knew what was right and what was wrong. My mom taught me. She said, always stick up for when you see people in pain.
Right.
When you see people hurting. So I shot him.
Wow. What did your mom say when you accidentally shot him?
I didn't accidentally.
Oh, you did it on purpose.
I did it on purpose.
Oh, okay.
Shot him right in his chest.
Ooh. It's okay
It's kind of hard to talk about.
It's okay to cry if you want to. Because on this podcast, this is a place where we don't discriminate. You actually can tell the truth, like heart truth stories,
Mm-hmm.
So, this is like a safe space, basically, so nobody won't judge you. Let me ask you this. I mean, ever since you were in jail for like, 10, 11 years, did you learn a life lesson from all this, or?
Yeah. I had a great sponsor when I was in juvie. He just basically, at first I didn't want to really hear it. I was really young, so a lot of the times words would come out of their mouths and go out my ear and then go right out my other ears. But it wasn't really until I turned like 13, 14 to my teen years that I started understanding the value of what anger can do.
Yeah.
And there's other ways to resolve issues.
Mm-hmm. See,
and that's something that I've learned. So I just try to keep my head on a straight swivel when I was in there, just so I can make it back home.
See, I grew up like, I guess when I became a teenager, I started having like so many anger issues. Well, I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm actually 32 now. But
wow.
Yeah, and see, what I had to do is that other than like me have to take pills, I also have to like go to like psychologist or therapy or whatever. And I have to explain to my doctor every 3 months about like things I've done and stuff like that. I have to but this is what I do. Like every time if I get done talking to my doctor, and then let's say about 3 months later, I have to write down things that, of what I'm doing and how the pills are working for me, that they're prescribing me, and it's really helping me out a lot. Cause just imagine, like, if I didn't take any pills for my anger issues, I would have been in jail.
Right.
And then that would have been putting me in a bad position. So that's why, I have someone I could talk to every 3 months about my, crazy psychological problems, And, he's been very helpful. And, ever since, I've been prescribed with all these pills, it got to where I've gotten to where I'm going through like bipolar now. So it's like kind of like bipolar, mixed emotions, mood swings kind of thing. So it's like let's just say like I wake up in the morning and it's like I could be in a bad mood, and then it's like, let's say an hour or two later, it's like I could be like sad or crying about something, and then it's like the next day it's like I'm laughing for no reason, and then it's like kind of like what's the word? I can't think of what it is. I used to say it all the time. It's like not a psycho thing. It's a
personality. I don't think it's a personality.
No, I think it starts. I think it starts with an H. I think I might be wrong, if I could think of it. But yeah, I used to go through all kinds of mixed emotions, and I don't know if that's just part of my life, because see, with me, I have autism, so it's like, with people who have like autism, they might go through like crazy, things that might go in their head, I've never killed anybody before. Don't get me wrong, like when I was a teenager, I used to get into fights, not all the time, but every once in a while. But, but as I, got to a certain age, I actually straightened up.
Yeah.
And I've actually like changed my whole life from being a risky teenager who gets in trouble to a good person. It's like when you're like on drugs or alcohol, and then when you get sober, you can tell the difference in changing. Like when you're like, drugs and alcohol can make it look like you could go ballistic, crazy, psycho kind of thing. But like when you're off the stuff, it's like you can see changes about how you're not acting like you're a crazy or a dumbass. It's more like you're more mature, instead of like, but other than that, I still go through some kind of bipolar.
For sharing that with me.
No problem. I hope your story, helps other people, because I just think, there are certain things that, that we want to do that might get us into trouble. What I do is I usually think about it first. And before I even do it, just think twice. Because, like, one day if you think of something first, you're like, oh, I'm just going to do it and get away with it. Right. But, think twice, before you start, going like a crazed lunatic, just think.
Right.
That's what I do. Because sometimes, like, I feel like, let's say if I get into, let's say, like, in one of my moods, like, let's just say, like, me and my mom, for example. I'm not trying to make this bad about my mom. Because, see, my mom, she's really sweet. But, but like, let's just say me and my mom got into this huge fight. And then in my head, I'm over here thinking, like, like maybe I should go and kill her. But then it's like, in my head, I got to think, like, if I kill her, I'm going to be in jail. So it's like, I got to think what I, think of something different, without.
Right.
So, what I'm saying? Like, just think before you start doing it. That's how I do it.
Exactly.
But see, like, me and my mom, we've never gotten into fights. We're basically like best friends, basically. So,
yes,
yeah.
I love that.
That's how close our relationship is with me and my mom. I was just thinking, like, if my mom was to die right now, like, I would be devastated. Like, I would get to where I feel like I wouldn't talk. I would go through, like, so many emotions. Like, I wouldn't even know how to control it,
Right.
Anyway, I want to thank you so much for actually being on my podcast. I really liked your story.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for letting me tell my story.
No problem. See, I'm not sure about how this goes, because, like, I've heard a lot of crime shit going around the world. Like, I just think, as a child, like 8 years old, he actually went and shot his own dad. But the problem is that I just don't know how to explain, because I was just telling him, I said, hurt someone, let's say my friends or family, And then it's like, you feel so devastated. You feel like you just want to throw yourself in jail. I get that. But I just feel like, I guess he just got to the point where he was just, tired of his parents fighting all the time. But instead of going to the entire extreme by, let's say, like, killing somebody just because your parents fight all the time, I mean, I get that, there's something goes on, you know, in a child's life. I get that. But it's just, the thing is, I just think if he really, I mean, I understand he was 8 years old, he was a child, he wasn't thinking. If I was in that situation, and if, let's say, if me and my parents was fighting over something stupid every single day, I would have just said something and say, like, hey, like, you can actually go to school and talk to a counselor, and they can maybe try to resolve, what goes on in a child's life. Because a counselor is kind of like a child's therapy, basically. So it's like, they're actually here to help. So I wouldn't expect, nothing of it. I mean, what they're going to do is that, I mean, it's just, I understand that, certain things happen, but I wouldn't go taking a risk by grabbing a gun and shooting somebody just because the parents were fighting. I mean, I just don't know what to say about that. So anyway, I'm going to start doing these questions of the day on my podcast. So question 1, do you think it's okay to kill somebody just because they're abusive? Go to youtube.com/TRB591 and then click on communities on your phone, and then click on the picture that actually says the question of the days, and you can go ahead and leave your comments down below and tell me what you think. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break, and I will be right back. And I will take my next call. Alright, welcome back. And today I am going to be talking to a person who feels like his life is being threatened by mafias. I'm kind of interested to actually hear his story. Let's go ahead and take my second call. Alright, so how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing all right.
Oh, okay. I'm doing good.
Great.
So I hear you have a story you want to tell us.
I have, yeah, it's kind of intense.
Okay.
So, I grew up here in Hawaii, halfway through my life with my father, but on the second half of my life, I moved in with my mother. Now, they were, polar opposites. My mom was like a party girl, going out, young forever type of lady, and my dad, strict Christian man. So, moving over to my mom's was great. It was like a freeing experience. I got to do whatever, but
kind of like a teenage kind of phase.
Yeah, it was nice. It was cool. But one thing about my mom was that she was homeless and traveling around pretty much my whole. But when I moved in with her, she met this guy, and they got married. Everything very quickly too. This man happened to be a cartel member. And he wasn't just any normal cartel member. He was actually a nephew of. Have you heard anything about cartels?
Cartels, I've heard of it.
Do you know the name El Chapo? Have you ever heard that?
I feel like I have. I just can't remember.
He's basically like the Pablo Escobar.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see what you're talking about.
So this guy that my mom ended up marrying was a member of this family, actually, a family member. And so life's going great. I didn't really know what he did at first, so we would hang out, talk. He was such a cool guy. He was a very family-oriented guy, so it felt like a nice new thing for my mom to have a steady relationship with someone that actually would stay with her. But yeah, over time I noticed that we just had no money problems. He would get me whatever I want. It was great.
Oh wow, that's good.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. But one day when they dropped me off to school, at my school there was a riot going on, so there were a lot of policemen everywhere. They saw him, and I think somebody recognized him, and they deported him.
Oh wow.
But the thing is, he's been gone for years since. But what I didn't know is that he ended up having a debt on him.
Oh.
That ended up transferring over to my own mother. So while he was in prison, she would try to handle things on that side of the business. And she never did this before her whole life, so she didn't really know how to do it correctly, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And the scariest part of this story to me is when I don't really know she did. She's in prison now.
Oh wow.
But the thing is with the cartel, or from what I've seen, is that if you snitch or go against them, they don't just get you. They get your family. They target your family.
Right.
They'll pull up to the funeral after and shoot up the funeral too.
Kind of like a what do you call it? I would say mob, but it's a different. It's not mob. It's
it's
like
a Mexican mob.
Yeah, something like that. What is mafia?
Mafia, yeah.
That's the word I was trying to say. Yeah, mafia. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you gotta stay away with those kind of people.
Yeah, I know, and it's kind of spooky because from what I learned, I don't know what my mom really did, but from looking at the time she's gonna serve for what she was caught doing, she's not really serving time. So I'm actually, ever since that happened, I've been afraid looking over my shoulder, just honestly waiting to see if something happens to me, because I think she might have ratted or snitched or something like that.
So it's like, in a way, well, it's kind of like, in a way, it's like you're kind of worried that something bad's going to happen to you because somebody ratted somebody out.
Yeah, and I'm involved with her, so it's like...
Oh, God, I feel so sorry for you, man.
And this guy that she married, he really sees me as his son, because he would have some... I don't know, once in a while, he would just... his heart would stop beating, and he would lay on the floor, and I would give him CPR, like chest compressions. So I saved his life one time, and ever since then, he's been calling me his son and everything. They both call my phone from prison. And I'm nervous just knowing that he's showing everybody, telling everybody that I'm his son and all that, when I don't know what kind of bad business he's getting down with. You know, I could be a target if they're trying to get to him, type of thing. And it's spooky. It feels unfair. It feels like I was thrown into a situation that I want nothing to do with at all.
It's like you were basically like thrown under a bus. Basically, like...
Yeah, and I have siblings and they have kids, so the thing is, the cartel is heartless when it comes to these kind of things. They're all about that kind of thing. I remember a weird memory with my mom's husband was we were watching... Do you know the Punisher movie?
I feel like I've heard of it, but I can't seem to remember.
So, in the Punisher, it's about a guy who... Some drug cartel comes and basically shoots up his whole family, and then he gets revenge. It's like an action movie, right?
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about.
I'm watching this movie with my mom's husband, and the part where the guy's family was getting slaughtered by these drug people, he was going, yes, kill the family, yes, he was saying shit. And I don't know, it was crazy because living with her those years, we've had many people come and go into our house. Like, I don't know, random Mexican people would come and go from our house. and they were always here for, I don't know, I had a couple guys tell me they're here to take a hit out on someone type shit.
Oh, wow.
But what's weird about all these killers that I met over time is how it's weird. Like, you can't even tell with them, man. Like, they're so friendly, so family oriented. Like, you'd never guess it was.
But then it's like you figure out that they're bad people.
Yeah, no, it's scary, yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to make this up because, like, I've never had anybody put a hit on me or put a hit on my family. But I know a lot of bad people, and I can tell you right now, like, I'm not saying, like, we're close friends, but it's like I know a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's okay to know some people, but
right.
You want to get involved like this, and I don't even know if I am, but the fact that he's in prison, telling everybody he knows that I'm his son. My mom is in prison. She's constantly asking me to send her pictures of myself. And it's sad because I haven't, but I haven't because I don't really know. I don't want her to show the wrong person what I look like for them to just pull up to wherever I'm at later on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah. So my goal, ever since I was young and I lived with my mom, is like, I'm kind of trying to just like disappear, actually.
Like just trying to hide, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Really. I really want to just go out there and disappear. And this dad that they had on my mom's husband was like 300,000 or some shit.
Good like Lord.
That. Yeah, so I mean, unless you want to fork over some cash, I gotta go. I gotta like
look, I've had my identity stolen, and I've had like $6,000 stolen from me.
Jeez.
And the thing is, they never gave it back. But
what happened with?
I don't know. I mean, all I know is that I was working with somebody, and he had a tracker in his pants pocket, which was connected to his phone. And he stole like $6,000 from me when we were working together, and everybody just figured out who it was at the time. But everybody was making it. But see, everybody was making it seem like that I gave him all the information, even though I didn't. Which was a lie. It was a lie.
Why do you think they thought that?
Anyway, when I was being interrogated, like, because I used to live in Atlanta. Well, I live in Macon now, like in Lizella, Macon, Georgia. But see, I'm like an hour away from Atlanta, Georgia. But anyway, when I was being interrogated, I don't know what got into these officers, but they made it seem like it was all my fault. Like, they said that I'm the one who gave them all the information, and that I was the one stealing people's identities, which was a lie, because I never did any of that. And then they said that they were going to have me get thrown in jail for 30 years. I said, why are you going to throw me in jail? I didn't do shit.
You're the one that lost $6,000. How did you...
I didn't give him any money. And what really made me mad is that, well, even though they are both in jail, I still never saw the money.
What the hell? So they kind of just... I mean, they didn't get away with it, but you didn't get no money back. That's crazy, man.
I know.
Yeah, that's odd.
It's stupid, and I don't understand why, you got all these cops who are supposed to help people, but they're just making it worse for other people,
Yeah, I get that. There's some crooked cops out there for real.
They need, yeah.
But, I mean, hey, man, I guess that's my story. Yeah, that's where I'm at this moment anyways. It's kind of just enough my random life.
Well, I'm so sorry about your tragic life, and I hope things get better for you, and I hope you don't get, shot or in jail or anything. I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray for you, I promise. I'm going to make sure things get better for you.
I appreciate that. But hey, don't worry, I'll be fine. I choose not to stress over things that aren't...
Oh, I've learned not to stress over things too, because I used to work with, even though I still have jobs and stuff, I used to work with customers that used to, not every single customer is going to be mean, but I just learned just to ignore it.
Yeah, no.
Because it's so weird, I've had customers cuss me out and all this stuff. I just said, I don't care. Just pay for your shit and go. This is going to hurt my feelings. Mommy, this customer said this to me. Like, come on, really? Like, I'm not that stupid. See, I grew up, like, tough kind of way. I mean, even though I'm fun and sometimes I might do something stupid, but, like, let's just say, like, if you're at a job, you have to act more professional, basically.
True.
But,
yeah, I do that in my job place. Professionalism. Important.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you so much for being on my podcast. I really enjoyed your story.
All right, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, and I will hope you have a great day.
You too.
All right.
Peace.
Peace. Okay, so I really like this guy's story. I am happy that he is staying positive, but he's also kind of worried at the same time about how, you know, that he's probably going to end up getting either killed or probably get thrown in jail. Kind of like, because you got people that want to run their mouth. I get that. I know how this world works. We live in the city. You say one thing about one person, they're going to find out, and then after that, we're all in trouble. But I hope that nothing bad happens to him, because I'm going to pray for him. I just think, you know, when you put yourself in a situation, I just think, you know, people need to, like, be careful what you know, say or do, you know, stuff like that. You just, because there's a lot of people nowadays, you can't even trust people anymore. Like, for example, like, let's say, like, you was to say things like, hey, like, I got drugs, or I got money, or whatever. People can, like, take advantage of you. And it don't matter what you got, people can break into your house and steal stuff from you. Even all this hard work you've put into by, you know, buying a new TV, a computer, an iPad, phone, whatever, or furniture-wise, and then it's just, you know, one day you walk in from work, coming home from work, and it's like you've been robbed, you know. And but anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to my podcast. I want to thank you guys so much for being on my podcast. If you guys actually want to be on my podcast, please text 478-901-4445. That's 478-901-4445. And you can go ahead and text me your story, and I will go ahead and put you on the spot. All right? Till next time, peace.